Hi, y'all. We can officially talk now. Okay, so I'm Coach Amy. This is how to reduce gluten and dairy in your THM journey. I didn't say that specifically, but y'all know that's what that is. So first of all, before we start, I typically ask for everyone to mute themselves while I do the little talky talk, but I'm interested to know if anyone wants to share in the beginning if you're interested in gluten and dairy, reducing gluten and dairy, or one of the other, and why. And while I'm talking, I want you to consider things that you need to replace. I'm going to give some examples of what I did in my journey. So if there's something that you're like, I just can't figure out how to replace this to be lower dairy and gluten, we'll work through that towards the end. So anybody?
Dairy for me.
Dairy, okay.
I'm dairy. My daughter has an autoimmune response. She had like autoimmune psoriasis, and we went to a naturopath, and she told us that it was likely dairy or wheat. So she took out dairy, and it went away in like a week. So, but I am a big cheese head, and so I've got to figure out some things to eat, for our whole family. And I get like gunk all in my throat when I eat dairy. So my chiropractor's been telling me a long time to get rid of it. So.
Okay, anybody else?
For me, it's wheat and dairy.
Okay.
I'm celiac, and I was allergic to dairy as a child and have been consuming it, but it's doing the same thing to myself as it's doing to Pam. My head's clogged up. I know it's bad for me and I know it needs to go, but a lot of our THM dinners have cheese in it because that's what the rest of the family likes to eat. So definitely need to get rid of both for me.
Right. Okay, good. Well, thank y'all for sharing that. So kind of before I begin, I want to tell you how this is going to roll. I'm going to do kind of how why I reduced dairy and gluten, and then how I did dairy and gluten reduction, and then go through some tips for you guys. I have some drive-through Sue type items over here. I am not going to be able to tell y'all every blooming product and thing that is dairy or gluten low with THM. It's just not going to happen. We don't have that long, but this will get you started for sure and get you some good, easy to find things out there to help. Also, I have some recipes that are, and you're going to get a PDF also. When you get the replay link, you'll get a PDF of this. So y'all don't have to write everything down. Don't freak out. You'll get all this, and it might even be a little better organized than all my blah, 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 blah. But this is the way I work best, and so that's the way I'm going to do it. Okay, so first of all, the reason that I began reducing dairy and gluten was because I have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune condition that affects my thyroid, making it low. Okay, so I am on medication for that. And my story, I don't know if you've heard it or not, but what year was Katie born? 2008. 2007, I found out I had Hashimoto's for the first time. And it was because I could not get pregnant with my child. And so some little test the doctor did was like, you need to go to see such and such kind of doctor. I don't even know exactly what she was now. That's how much I paid attention back then. But anyway, she was like, oh, sister friend, the reason you can't be pregnant is because you have Hashimoto's and your vitamin D's tanked. Let's get all this done. I was pregnant in 2 months. No problem. So that's how I knew. And for a long time, I took the thyroid medication. I believe it was levothyroxine, which I think right now it's a miracle that it even worked for me, to be honest. But it did, so great. But for a long time, I wasn't really tracked by a doctor closely. It was like you showed up for a year and they felt your thing and they're like, you feel okay? Yeah, okay, bye. There's your prescription. And whenever that just kept happening, the doctor changed. I'm sure some of you have dealt with this in some way, form, or fashion. Your doctor changed and you're like, oh, forget it. I'm not going to worry about this anymore. And then I started feeling bad again. So I got back on it with a local doctor because I was having to drive an hour and a half to get all the levels checked, blah, blah, blah. Then I started THM and I dropped my weight in 3 to 4 months and was back to where I wanted to be, happy as I could be. And I didn't need the thyroid medication. Well, the local doctor didn't want me to get off. And I'm like, look, I really don't think I need it. Okay. Because everybody else says, so she let me wean off of it. And I started doing the dairy low and gluten low to help support my body. And it worked for a while. And then I had a crash, adrenals, all the things happened. And I had to get back on medication. So just to support my body well, I had decided to stay with the dairy low, gluten low. Now, I will say in the last 6 months or so, I might not have tracked it or, stayed on top of it like 100%, but it's always in the back of my mind. I don't need a handful of cheese on salad, like that's not even my go-to anymore. Um, I don't do a lot of those kind of things. Grains, I do some, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So before I got to be dairy low, I would have my breakfast would be butter, eggs, pepper jack cheese, my breakfast meat with coffee and heavy whipping cream. So I had butter, pepper jack cheese, and cream all in one meal. Okay. And now I do coconut oil, eggs, spinach, big mama jamma. If y'all have ever seen my pictures, you'll know. Big, huge thing of spinach to round out my plate with some veggies. Salt, pepper, and nutritional yeast, which is an ingredient that will be helpful for you guys, with a breakfast meat. And my coffee is with nut milk or nut pods or something like that. And so that's how I do breakfast. Lunch usually was a heavy S leftover, like you were talking, Lisa. A lot of the suppers that our family love, they're those heavy S meals. And then I would have also a salad. I had my non-starchies, but I had a big old thing of ranch all over it. So now my recipes, little to no dairy is what I try to do. Probably once a week I will make one of those heavy S. Maybe not even heavy though. Some that might have a little cheese. But I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a tip on that. One thing you can do is your quarter or whatever of the casserole, just don't put as much. I mean, unless you have a legit allergy, you can have a sprinkle. I ain't gonna kill you, okay? Or just don't put it on that little spot, and they'll all know it's yours. They'll know it's not theirs, especially those that are topped with the cheese, right? So that's something that I would highly suggest. I did that. I don't remember if it was Buds or Blooms live in the kitchen, and a lot of them were like, I never even thought about doing that, with a casserole type thing. Okay, so I'm changing that to the little to no dairy on the recipes. There are a lot of markers, especially in Trim Healthy Table, and it'll say dairy free, recipe. And if it does have dairy in the ingredients, it's going to give you an option for dairy free, which is really great. Not so much in Trim Healthy Cookbook. You got to be a little crafty for that one. Okay, so my salads, the way that I do dressing now is I do MCT oil, which, fun fact, MCT oil is a thermogenic food, which means as soon as it goes into your mouth, you're burning it, and it is just revving your metabolism, doing all really good things. So it's a beautiful trade out for those creamy dressings, especially when you're at home, because you're killing two birds with one stone. You've got that creamy dressing out of there, and you've got the metabolism revving properties of that MCT oil. And then I just swirl it around, and you can use olive oil if you want, but I love MCT because I want to get that revving thermogenic thing. Then I just do sprinkle of salt, and I do a thing of pepper. I have a little twisty, okay? And then I'll get some nutritional yeast and sprinkle it around. Nutritional yeast has a cheesy flavor to me. I have had my first client out of hundreds that I know of that has had a not so great response to nutritional yeast. And it's the kind that I gave her. It was THM because I gave it to her from my home. And so I don't know what that is. We're going to have to look into that a little further. Have any of you ever experienced, immediate having to go to the bathroom with nutritional yeast? I know. I was like, look, I have the guts of junk. Like, they're terrible. I cannot believe that you're dealing with this. It was crazy. She was like, I really think that's what it was. I was like, okay, fine. So anyway, whatever. She's not going to love on nutritional yeast like me, but that's a great one. Now, when I do fast food, my favorite thing is a Baconator from Wendy's. I probably haven't had one since December, I think. I couldn't tell you the last one, but I used to have them quite often. And of course, it would have the cheese and the bacon and the meat and the grease and all the things, but I still would get that from time to time. And you could just not get cheese on it, or just get one piece of cheese or something. So another option would be, did it grilled chicken with a lettuce wrap instead of having the cheese on the burger, if you're really wanting to reduce that dairy and pay attention. I'm boring though, y'all. I just don't go anywhere. I just eat at home because I'm always here. Okay, so suppers, we talked about that, the heavy S. So cheeseburger pie is a huge family favorite over here. So I would say what I would suggest doing there is just, if this is wouldn't rock the boat too much in your house, just make yourself something different. It's not going to kill you. Get you a tuna pouch, an avocado, mix that up with some salt and pepper and nutritional yeast. Use some little peppers or, romaine leaves. Have some THM cheesy crackers or something, just make you another plate and just sit down with your people and it's all fine. Because if you're really wanting to reduce dairy, that stuff has got mayonnaise, it's got heavy whipping cream, it's got cheese out the wazoo. You really don't need that. If you can have a small portion, fine. I don't think I'd be able to do that. It's so good. So I would just rather make myself something different if that's something your people love, love, love. So you can take that and apply it to the recipes your family likes. Choosing recipes with no dairy. Laughing cow cheese, I do let myself have that. Sometimes if it calls for the third less fat cream cheese, I might just half that so it's a little less in the whole recipe. It just makes me feel a little better. So some things that I do let myself have dairy wise would be cultured dairy because I don't have an allergy. If you have an allergy, it's a totally different ball game. But if you don't have an allergy and you're just trying to reduce dairy for the inflammatory response and everything, this is what I do for me. I let myself with the cultured dairy. So fat-free Greek, kefir, cottage cheese. And I do let myself have the, let me see where it is. My favorite thing is to show stuff out of my refrigerator in my pantry. I love it so much. I do love the Laughing Cow wedges. This is the garlic and herb. I use this on my sandwiches. Y'all see me talk about my sandwich. So I'll do that and it's really yummy. And the light Swiss is good too. I might have 1 or 2 wedges a week though. I mean, it's not like I'm having them every day. So there's that little tip for y'all. For coffee, I'm a coffee crazy person. I love nut pods. This is the hazelnut. If y'all have seen these before, I'm sure y'all have. One of my clients, she said, well, somebody told me that I need to get the sweetened one. Is that on plan? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it is. So I looked it up and they have monk fruit and stevia, and some of them do have other sugar alcohols. This particular one is unsweetened. But I always add super sweet to my coffee anyway, so it's all good in the neighborhood. Another thing that I do love, because I really miss my heavy cream. And, with THM, we've given up a lot of things. We've given up sugar. We've given up, for me, crossovers in general, I don't do often just because they make me gain and I don't want to gain. I want to stay right where I am. And so, you just give up a lot when you're doing THM in the beginning. Now I'm happy as a lark, but I do miss my heavy cream in my coffee that I used to do. And so Silk has a product that's dairy-free heavy whipping cream. And I get this at my Walmart. If yours doesn't carry it and they have other Silk products, ask the dude if he can order this for you. Okay. You're not going to get it at your store unless you ask them, people. Just say, hey, I'm a Trim Healthy Mama. No, don't do that. They'll be like, a what? So yeah, but this is a good one. And if anybody needs the barcode, I can send it to you because that is what they need. They need the barcode. Okay, let me get to the rest of my things. Okay, so reducing gluten. Let's switch gears a little bit. Talking about reducing gluten. So that actually is pretty easy when you're a Trim Healthy Mama, believe it or not. So, you're not going to have the breads, but there are other breads that you can do if you want a piece of bread. Serene and Pearl just saved your day. Now, I did not follow the directions right because Pearl got onto me. She was like, Precious, you're not supposed to use the little squatty one. You got to use the tall blender. I was like, oh, well, you need to put tall blender on the directions. And also my pan is a loaf pan, but it was a little bigger than average. I did not know that. So a little smaller pan. But anyway, I sliced it up and I had a grilled cheese. I did have some dairy, but I mean, a grilled cheese, like I hadn't had that in forever. So anyway, super, super yum, and just follow the directions. Don't be scared. It is a vehicle though. It is not just a slice of bread that's going to taste delicious toasted. You got to put some things on it. Okay. Okay. Y'all remember that. You're going to say, oh, thank you, Coach Amy, for reminding me that it's a vehicle, it's a vessel to bring things to you on. Okay, so some other things that we might want, Wassa crackers. If you are gluten-free or gluten low, Wassa crackers are not that. They are grains. So if you're looking for a cracker or a vehicle for some things, the THM shameless crackers and the all the flavors are gluten-free. Now, the cheesy ones have dairy, so it's kind of a, whatever. But these are dairy-free, and they're fuel pull, and I really love them. I'm pretty sure they're dairy-free. Hang on tight. Like, I say things from memory, and like, wait a minute, maybe not. Yes, they are. Totally fine. Okay. Usually those things are on the list, but I guess that's not even a big thing. All right, some other things that we can do. I did bring this. So gluten, you can still have oats, okay? So a lot of the THM baked recipes that I prefer are E's, and so I buy gluten-free oats. And you can get those at Walmart, no problem. Wes and I took these on our trip, and they're just little single serve. We travel an awful lot. And so usually when you're traveling, what is it most difficult to have is an E when you're on the road. So if you take these, I used our Keurig. So our place this weekend on our trip had a refrigerator and a table that a microwave was sitting on, and it had a Keurig upstairs. That was the kitchen. So, but I made it work. So we ran the hot water through the Keurig. We filled it up to the little thing, put the top on it, started up. I had some little packets of on-plan sweeteners, sweetened it, and had collagen in our coffee and called it a day. Wes had a little more protein with a yogurt, but I didn't fool with it, and I was fine. But this is a great thing. These are gluten-free and great. Don't add more, if you use this specific product, don't add more fat, because it does have already 5 grams, because it has some chia and flax seeds in it. Okay, little tip for you there. Okay, and let's see. I wish I'd have done all the dairy things before this, but I will. It's fine. So some other things that you can do is gluten-free rice cakes. These are both flavors that I like, and these are both 100% on plan. I'm not too much of a brown rice lover. It kind of spikes my blood sugar a little more than other carb sources do. And so this one was actually a little nicer for me to use. So these are both, I did get these at my Kroger that closed. Y'all can be sad for me. But they come in little packs, which I love. Let me see. Neither one of these are open. Hold on. They come in packs, I think, of 6. And so they stay fresh, they're like, yeah, so little packs, all the way down. And you can have 4 in an E, which I love. So when I do those, I'll do a Laughing Cow and a pouch of tuna. And then I'll do either Coach Canada's fuel pull amount of peanut butter or peanut junkie on the other 2. And it is super yum. Rounded out with some non-starchies and berries. Yummy, yummy. So, so good. These are some other crackers. These are, they're gluten-free Mary's Gone crackers. And she has several. This is just one that I picked up at Whole Foods the other day. And it is gluten-free, as you see right here. And they are more on the fence of a crossover. They have 7 grams of fat and about 13 gram net carbs. So it's kind of a, a toss up. You have to decide, how you want to go. I wouldn't have them super often. Okay. But if you just need a cracker and you're gluten-free, this is a good option. Okay. We can't have everything sometimes, y'all. Okay. A lot of people talk to me about granola, and you can definitely make granola gluten-free. Ours granola would be gluten-free, and it's very good. That's in Trim Healthy Future. Then you have crunchy granola in Trim Healthy Cookbook or Table. I don't remember, one of those. I don't particularly like that one. The oats don't sit well with my stomach. So this one is amazing. This is gluten-free product. I get it at Walmart. There's this, and there's a blueberry one also, but this is S because it's nuts and coconut. Okay. So this is not a lot of people, I've ran into that with my buds group just this week. A lot of them were putting granola under their carb source. And I'm like, whoa, girl, what kind of granola? Well, it's that kind that you showed me. I'm like, well, that's S because it's fats. Look at your label, sister. So that's what we have for that. Okay, so we talked about bread. You can make, there are tons of gluten-free breads in the cookbooks. Wonder Right blender bread. You got the no carb easy that they just came out with, Nuke Queens bread, something like that. And lots of things like that. There's the Wonder Wraps. Those you can do those as well. When you come to low carb tortillas, those are modified wheat starch. That's not gluten free. But you can use the Wonder Wraps for that, or there is it's a brand called Crepini, and they're called egg thins. They're cauliflower and egg whites, maybe some like salt or something. I double those. They're super, super thin though, super thin. Just think about a thing of egg whites that kind of got burnt on the bottom of your pan. Like it's so thin. So I use 2 when I'm using those, and they're fuel pull all day long. There's like barely anything to them, but if you really want to wrap, that's a good one to do. And that would be gluten-free and dairy-free for you guys. Crepini is the brand of that. And they come in big ones and little ones. I get those by the egg whites at the grocery store usually. I have found them in the freezer section at some grocery stores, but I really don't think they were supposed to be there, honestly. I do allow myself, because I do not have the gluten allergy, I do allow myself to have the organic, it's Arnold's. I can't remember all the variations of that brand. I'm sorry. I'm not going to come up with that today, but it's Arnold's is what I buy. And it is organic sprouted wheat, and it's thin sliced. So they're very small slices, and it's a unicorn. So it's very hard to find. But I prefer that over the Pepperidge Farm because I feel like it has way better ingredients for my body. Okay. Ezekiel Food for Life, Ezekiel brand, those to me, they're organic and sprouted. And since I don't have an allergy, they're fine for me. I use the cereal and the breads maybe once a week. Okay. I just don't have it every day. I don't do grains every day. And like I said, I haven't really tracked that in a long time. I actually just did for my one-on-ones and my groups, I teach them how to track. I had Ezekiel cereal once. The rest of it was all gluten-free. So I did good. I didn't even know it. So that's awesome. I wasn't paying attention. I was just eating my food. And I went back and tracked it to show them. But anyway, I just think that it's really good to give yourself some grace with boundaries when it comes to going gluten and dairy low. But those of you that have the allergy, it's a little different story. Okay, try not to choose mini supper recipes with dairy. If you do, fill up on veg and take it easy on that casserole, supplementing protein if needed. So if you want to do that cheeseburger pie and have that with your family, maybe do a little, 2 or 3 by 3 square, have a Mama Jamma salad, maybe have a collagen drink to go alongside to make sure you're getting enough protein. All right, like I said, cultured dairy products like fat-free Greek and kefir don't make me bloat, but I don't have them every day, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. THM pristine whey powder is not dairy-free, but it does not contain lactose, which is actually a lot of people's problem. So that is a good one to use. It's not deemed dairy-free, but it can be acceptable, I guess, or permissible. Deep S meals are something that would be really good for anyone that wants to be gluten or dairy low, because you cannot have any carbs at all, which means there's no dairy allowed, and no carbs means no grains. So deep S meals are really good for that. Does everyone know what a deep S meal is? Is there anybody that does not? I'll be happy to tell you. Okay, so deep S is in the S category. Okay, so it's fats, right? And it's the pure and holy meal. So you're using superfood oils like coconut and olive oil. Those are the top 2 that I would choose. There's a lot of others, but that one's kind of normal. Also, fat can be coming from your meat and eggs. So fat's only coming from the oils, the meat, and the eggs. Okay. Then you're going to round it out with leafy greens are the most acceptable non-starchy, but you can have other ones like squash, zucchini, asparagus, green beans. There are a lot of no-nos when it comes to deep S that we typically have in other S meals. No berries, no dairy, no avocado, no onions, no peppers, that kind of thing. So really think green veggies. And they're very slimming. And they're very good for stabilizing your blood sugar. I call it the rescue meal. So if you lost your mind and went off plan the night before, it's really good to have some eggs, bacon, and a big old thing of sauteed spinach with some oil on it to help stabilize your blood sugar. Okay. All right. There, also in the document, there will be a link to the THM allergen free group. You can join that, it's free. Okay, some snacks for dairy free and gluten free also, of course, to be adding collagen to a beverage, that would be helpful. Pork skins, I prefer Epic brand. Popcorners, and you can add some lean protein. THC Secret Big Boys and Frappas. THC Nogurt. So if you're wanting to replace yogurt, there is a recipe in Trim Healthy Cookbook called Nogurt, and I do have that linked at the, well, not linked, but I have it stated at the bottom what page number. There's a lot of things that collagen berry whip to replace the cottage berry whip for someone that is dairy free for sure. Glucky pudding, glycine glory pudding, skinny chocolate. And while we're talking about chocolate, THM's chocolate and Lily's dark are both dairy free, so you can use those. THC avo cream or chia pud. I do not like the chia pud, just so you know. I didn't tell you to make that and say it was going to be good. The avo pud is good. Avo cream really is good. Gummies using just gelatin. That's a way to kind of, you know, have a little treat for yourself or your children. And then THM dark chocolate butterfly bar with on-plan peanut butter is absolutely amazing, but they're out of stock since forever. Okay, other dairy-free products. Kite Heel makes cream cheese and almond milk yogurt, but it does not have much protein, so watch out for that. The Silk Heavy Cream, I showed you guys. Nut Pods, I showed you. THM chocolate chips, I showed you. Ghee is really good replacement for butter. It's clarified butter. You could also do coconut oil. That's what I use. That's how I primarily cook, saute, all the things, whether it's my eggs, my vegetables, a hamburger. I use coconut oil, and I use refined, so my savory meals don't taste like coconuts. Okay. Some other things, let's see. Oh, THM, or it's SARI, Sorry Foods Nutritional Yeast. It's in the yellow bag on Amazon. If you don't want to order through THM, both of those are very good. Egg white protein powder, THM's whey powders, like I said, are lactose free. Also, the Creamy Dreamy Plant Proteiny, that's kind of a little joke, but it's hemp protein and it's dairy free and gluten free. And then I have some recipes at the bottom there, and also links to bloggers. The other thing that I was going to show you, this is not really, I've not found a hard and fast answer, but I do let myself have goat cheese every now and then. If you have not had goat cheese before, you should have it. So good. Oh my gosh. I made a pesto pizza today, and I put this instead of mozzarella. Oh, so yummy. Cindy loves, I have not tried goat milk. Would you consider that dairy free?
I mean, I don't know that it's dairy free, but it's definitely a better alternative than cow's milk.
I think so too.
And especially when I can get it from the farmer's market.
Girl, that's awesome.
We have a
Goat milk
local,
is
we have
dairy
a local farm. Say it again.
Goat milk is dairy free. That's
well, there you
what
go.
I used growing up and my nephew. However, you have to be careful because if it gets into a patch of clover or garlic, it actually comes through in the taste of the milk.
Huh. Kind of like mama milk.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
It is.
I have to have it
It's really
fresh.
strong, so you have to like really like it or not like it. But I love it.
I don't need any milk.
Unfortunately,
Goat
it's
cheese
too
I need.
expensive.
We have goats, and so when it's fresh milked, I can't taste all those weird flavors, but as it ages, not so good anymore to me.
I don't know. Whatever they do for the ones that they have at the farmer's market is great.
Well, good. All right. So that is that. I want to encourage you. I'm going to open it up the floor in just a second. I want to encourage you to think about, I kind of rocked some of my Bloom's World a couple weeks ago because a lot of them were having grains 2 and 3 times a day. And I'm like, yo, whoa, it don't on the grains. There's so many more carb sources that the good Lord gave us, y'all. Like there really is. And I'm trying to pull up my little image because I'm always scared I'm going to forget something really good to tell y'all. So you've got, of course, brown rice and quinoa are both gluten-free. Quinoa is not even a grain. So it is something really good. Everything's all a buzz about quinoa in the THM world. And it is really, really nice on your blood sugar as well. You can get gluten-free oats. Let's see what else. Corn. I don't really like people to have corn a lot, but you do, you boo. Fruit, beautiful, beautiful fruit. I love tropical fruit so much. It's more dense to me with nutrition, and I love that so much. Berries, beautiful berries, beans, legumes, lentils, and potatoes, sweet potato, purple sweet potato, red potatoes, and yellow or Yukon Golds. Great ways to get carbs in and not have any grains. So when you're thinking about those family dinners, think about these foods that you can use in place of some of that other. I'm telling y'all that I kind of base this off of the air fried meal from Trim Healthy Future. I did this the other night. I cut up several of the Yukon Gold potatoes, and then I had canned chicken. That's something I never had before, like 6 months ago, just saying, because I thought it was nasty, but it's not. And canned chicken. And then I think I had some mushrooms that needed to be eaten up, and then maybe some green onions because I was like cleaning out the refrigerator night. But anyway, I put that all in a bowl, sprayed it with some olive oil spray, tossed it around, salt, pepper, nutritional yeast, and air fried it for like 10 minutes. It was amazing. So good. So those crispy potatoes will just make you happy. Had a good E. All right. Do y'all have any questions for me? It can be on topic or just regular THM.
I have a question.
Okay.
Go ahead. Is somebody else already on there?
Pam, you can go, and then Annalie. Annalie, is that your name? Okay.
Okay, like a lot of times I don't like to eat breakfast. And so in the morning I will make coffee with MCT oil and collagen.
Mhm.
Is that okay? Like to have that since it's got protein. I
Yes,
think
because
I
you're
use the
fueling.
vital proteins, and 2 scoops of the chocolate makes a mocha, and it's 20 grams of protein. Like, is that fine if I have vegetables like later on in the day?
Yeah.
Or should I really be having vegetables every single meal?
No, you don't have to do anything. Now tell me again what kind of protein you're using.
Vital proteins.
Oh, okay.
If I get the flavored, the unflavored, I use the Trim Healthy Mama. But if I get the chocolate collagen, I had gotten the vital proteins.
Just be 100% that that's on plan. I have not read that label in a long time. So
Okay.
just make sure it's on plan. That's my only thing. Now, that's an ultra fuel pull, pretty much what you're having. So you could fuel again in 2 hours, and I would be happy with that. And you could
Okay.
just start your day from there.
All
I
right.
like for clients to fuel within an hour of waking up. You're fueling. You're not necessarily eating, but you're fueling, right? A
Mhm.
couple hours later, go ahead and eat your breakfast. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Mhm.
Okay. And then go on from
So
there.
it doesn't, did I unmute?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
So it's not okay that I replace breakfast with that since it's got the fat and since it's got the MCT oil and the collagen?
That's fine.
You think it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you satisfied? Are you wanting to eat 3 hours later or 4 hours later?
I could go all day. I'm not even
No,
hungry.
we got to fix that. You got to fix your metabolism. No, ma'am.
Yeah. I don't go all day, but I could. I'm just saying, like,
How much MCT do you use?
I've been using a half a tablespoon. Sometimes I used to use a whole tablespoon, and I don't remember why I pulled back on it. But
A lot.
what, the whole tablespoon?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I pulled back to a half a tablespoon. My problem is that I want to hug S foods all day long, and I don't. If
You
I
need some
eat
carbs in
an
your
E,
life.
like I did an E breakfast a couple of mornings ago, within an hour, no, I'd say 30 minutes, like it triggers something in my brain where I'm just like, I want food, I want food, I want food, I want food.
No. So either you didn't have enough protein to anchor that. You need at least 30 grams of lean protein in that E meal, or you didn't have enough carbs. You need to get to 30 to 40 grams of carbs, and
Okay.
also have a non-starchy. Your body is ready to burn. You need to have E's, at least one E every day.
Okay. Okay. I promise.
Okay.
Okay, 30, 40.
Annalie.
Sorry, I wanted to ask about a dairy substitute. I don't know what recipe it is. I'm a breastfeeding mom, and my baby she does not like dairy. It's given her really bad colic, so I've had to cut it out, and it's been really hard because I actually had gestational diabetes. So Trim Healthy Mama, gestational diabetes kind of similar with the blood sugar. So cheese was my saving grace, and now I can't have any of it.
Mhm.
I know it's from Trim Healthy Table, I think, but it was like a muffin recipe or something with yogurt in it. And I don't know. I was wondering, could I substitute unsweetened applesauce? Does that throw off
You
what it
can.
is?
You just need to make sure that you get a little protein from something else, which honestly, the protein sources that go into muffins, was it
Mhm.
an e-muffin?
I really don't remember.
That's
My
okay.
brain does not work right now.
I understand. Been there, done that. So yes, unsweetened applesauce in an E would be fine. Now, if you're okay with having a crossover and it was an S, then that's fine too. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you're having these muffins, if you're pulling out a protein source like yogurt, you just need to make sure that you're adding proteins that you have enough in your meal or snack. In a meal, we need 20 to 30 grams protein. In a snack, 10 to 15 grams. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure. That was easy. I was like, oh, we're going to talk about that was good. All right. Who's next? Hey, Susan.
Hey, I have a question about like some of the recipes that are in the books. Is there any like nutritional information on the, okay. Well, because I was looking at I think it's the peachy muffins. I was going to make that.
Yep,
Um,
those are good.
a lot of carbs in the oats, and I guess I'll just have to plug it in to a,
No, there's not a lot of carbs in the oats. That's something I need y'all to not worry about. And let's
Okay.
just look at this container of oats for just a second, okay? So it's 33 grams of carb, but there's 7 grams of fiber, right? So it's 26 grams of carb. How many carbs can you have in an E?
can have up to 40, right?
45.
45. Okay.
So go ahead and have 40 or 45.
I don't need to go that high though.
Why
That's,
not?
well, because I'm insulin resistant. So,
No, because you're going to anchor it in lean protein and your body's going to handle it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go ahead and have it. But honestly, if you're doing, let me look at that. I want to see how many. Oh, just a second. Is that in table?
No, cookbook, I think.
I think you're right. Whew, I'll scare my
Susan?
I had a nutritionist tell me to keep my carbs to like 30.
because she
and
doesn't understand that THM is going to naturally balance your blood sugar because of the way they teach. Because if you're having, I'm also a nutrition coach. Does that help you feel better about what I just said?
yes, it does.
Okay. There's only 1 cup. Oh no, there's 2.5. Sorry. There is
Yeah.
2.5 cups of carb. I mean, you could math that out. You could look on your container of oats
Mhm.
and look what a serving is and math out how many carbs are in this. That's the only carb source until you get down to the peaches. So you could math out the carbs in that and divide it by 12, which it makes 12 large. I usually get a lot more than 12 in this recipe. I really think if you're just having 2, I really think you're going to be fine. And if you don't want to add a carb source, don't.
Well, because I was going to make them and I thought, oh, that'd be a nice little, like a dessert
Yeah.
meal. But what if I already have like a sweet potato? You know, like I don't want to,
So that's that's a valid question. So if you're going to use an E dessert or like a
Mhm.
muffin or whatever, like a piece of bam cake or something, and you're going to have that alongside your meal, which I think is super wise, just have a smaller portion of the sweet potato. So instead of a whole sweet potato, just do half, right? And then bring in the carbs for the dessert in your oats and your peaches.
Okay.
Okay. And then you'll have your lean protein and your veggies alongside.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Hey,
Welcome.
Amy.
Hey, Jennifer.
So when she started mentioning the peachy muffins, for some reason, that is the only recipe I have ever taken and crunched the numbers. Because I think, so I ran and grabbed my book. I think when I made that in my head, it was going to be like full of carbs. I didn't need to eat a lot of them. But now, don't quote me on this because it's quite possible it's wrong. But when I don't want to say, oh, this is it. But when I made half a batch of them because I thought, well, that's a lot of stuff if I don't like them. So
Right.
I'm really funny the first time I make something to make half a batch. I wrote down that it per muffin, and mine aren't huge. Like I didn't just top them where they're overflowing on my muffin pan. I put 7 grams of carbs
Yeah, it's
per
low.
muffin, and it was like half a gram of fat and 3.6 grams of protein. Why I did 3.6? But so like it wasn't near the amount of carbs I thought. So it was like 7 grams per muffin.
Yeah, because I will eat 3. Like if I'm having muffins for breakfast, I will probably do 3, any of them. Breakfast meat or egg whites, collagen coffee, and berries every time. That's what you're going to see. Yeah. And Susan, I will say, I know I was getting on you a little hard there. I will say because I do have blood sugar type issues, it will spike if I don't have all of those things in place. So I do tend to do more 30, but I could not tell you the last time I worried about numbers. And that has been very freeing for me because for a long time, I had to mouth junk out and it drove me crazy.
Okay, thank you. Well, and I really hadn't been worrying about it too much, but it just seemed like a lot of oats going into that recipe that
Yeah.
I stopped myself. I was going to make them after work today, and I just stopped and was like, I'll ask her about that.
So on cooked oatmeal in the plan book, it suggests 1 1/4 cup cooked oatmeal
Okay.
is,
All right. Thank you.
is acceptable in E.
All right. Thanks so much. And
You're
thanks for
welcome.
that info.
Good job, Jennifer. Way to be on the ball, girl.
The only recipe I've ever done that with, ironically, that's the one
Crazy.
she mentioned.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry, Jennifer. I called you the wrong name. Thank you.
And I think the reason I did that was like what Pam was mentioning about eating an e-breakfast and then being starving 30 minutes later. Because I used to have that problem until I started doing the collagen and MCT oil in my coffee to get my protein in, because I would eat these muffins thinking, oh, I've done great because I made the recipe out of the cookbook, but it wasn't enough protein. So I was scavenging for something else.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. It wasn't breakfast. It was, I made the chicken and wild rice soup from the first cookbook, and I ate a decent sized bowl of it. And I thought, oh, that's an E recipe and it's got chicken. So I'm getting I'm getting enough protein just in that. And then like I had a slice of sprouted bread with it or something like that. But so I guess that's the other thing, is that just because you're eating that doesn't mean you're getting enough.
No,
protein.
and I know that can be frustrating. But everyone is so different. It's really hard. For me, I've got to have all the protein in the free world. I need it. But in situations like that, I usually will have a couple of bowls of that soup. Or you can do it like THM just gelatin. That will add some protein. It's just going to dissolve right in your soup and it doesn't taste. Or you can close your meal out with a collagen drink. But it takes me a little longer to eat soup. I don't know about y'all. So let's not try to stretch that out for over 30, 45 minutes and then have a collagen drink. That's kind of like grazing and not giving your body time to digest and rest. So just try to make sure you're getting it in within 30 minutes. I think that's important to remember. Susan, Cindy wants you to know that she's lost 43 pounds on THM with insulin resistance. And she is a long-term one-on-one client, and I know everything she eats.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It is so doable, I promise.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So I tend to have a crossover snack every day because I enjoy it. And I just wonder how not damaging, but it is. So I like pistachios, and I always have one cutie orange afterwards. And I just don't know if I should be replacing that more with, like, say, blueberries instead. It's more like I want to say a drive-through Sue option for me.
Yeah,
I'm on the
that's
go
easy.
quite a bit, so I throw pistachios in a Ziploc bag and a cutie orange all the time, and I love it. But I just don't know if it's more damaging than not.
Where do you live?
Boston.
Okay. I couldn't figure out if you were in Louisiana or in the Northeast.
No, Massachusetts.
It's similar. I'm just saying. Okay. So I know that crossovers are not optimal for weight loss. So if you're doing that every day, I would say it is hurting your progress. Now, if you're losing and having that, go for it, girl. But if you're stalled, that's what you need to change. Now, if you love it that much and it's that easy, maybe save it for those hardest days and do it that day. And then maybe the other days, choose something different. I will say that nuts are heavier on the fats and don't offer as much protein as we might think. So check your serving and your protein amount and make sure you're getting enough. Like I said, 10 to 15 grams of protein in a snack. And there are so many other foods in the world. Break out.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Cindy, I love the Zoom nights. This is so fun. It's the best. Okay. Hey, Julie, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Okay, so I have reached my goal weight and I've been maintaining that for several months now.
Congratulations.
I still feel bloated all the time. And everyone says it's the dairy, it's the dairy, cut back on the dairy. So I'm working on that. It's been hard for me, but I'm trying. But are there any other foods specifically that I should watch out for that may cause that stomach bloat?
Yeah, beans and lentils sometimes can cause that for people, and it's just the fiber. And with that token, other high fiber foods, some vegetables that I really can't do is celery, radishes, and Brussels sprouts. Don't know if you're frequenting those very often. Yeah, but those do cause some bloating for me. Some of the sugar alcohols will do that to people as well. So if you're having a lot of THM desserts and baked goods that have a lot of sugar alcohols, especially if you're using a less than stellar product, it can cause that bloat as well. But I would say the main thing is your gut. How do you feel about fermented foods like sauerkraut and things like that? I personally would not eat that. But that and kombucha, that will help heal your gut. Other ways to heal it that are not as scary and overwhelming would be okra. So I would really suggest having an okra shake or okra in a soup or something like that every day. And that will help clean your gut. Do not think you're going to air fry okra to the bejeebies to pieces and get the same health benefits as you would having it raw, frozen.
Yeah, I love it in the secret shakes.
Good. Well, I would try to have one of those every day and see if we can get your gut healed. How much water do you drink every day?
Not enough.
I want you to drink at least 50 ounces of pure water. I got all over my blooms last night. One of them, she don't even drink 1 8-ounce glass of whole water. Oh, whole water. Y'all are going to think of me now. But I was like, Sister Friend, you don't even drink 1 glass of water? I drink like 3 or 4 of these a day full of water.
Some days are better than others.
Well, that will be helpful as well. I really think the okra will help heal your gut. And then just maybe keep a food journal and see maybe when you have like your worst days of the bloat and try to go back through your foods and see if you can pinpoint and maybe do elimination that way.
I use my THM app religiously.
Good. Well, then you can definitely go back and look.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Amy, could you show those rice thins again?
Yeah, sure. Lundberg thin stackers.
Okay.
They're good.
Yeah.
I've gotten them at Kroger and on Amazon and at Whole Foods. And I think I've seen them at Publix. That's about all the stores that I've maxed
We have
out.
a Whole Foods out here and obviously Amazon.
Yeah.
Amy, what did you say you eat on those? Can you remind us? I'm sorry. I think my
Yes.
battery.
So I'll do a tuna pouch with Laughing Cow, probably the garlic and herb because it has flavor. I don't have to do anything else with it. Done. And then I'll just put that on 2. And then the other 2, I'll do the Coach Canada's peanut butter, like about a tablespoon on each one, and maybe a little bit of jelly since it's an E. I mean, why not? And then I'll, excuse me, I'll do some freshies like cucumbers, sweet peppers, carrots, tomatoes, whatever I have I need to get rid of, and berries. You could use those pretty much in any way that you wanted with something that was fuel pull, you know. What's her face? Pearl does, it's called Pearl's Delight, Banana Delight. That's when I first discovered these. Are you laughing because I said, what's her face? I didn't mean it. I love her. Queen P. And that's when she first kind of told us about these thin stackers. And she was doing a smear of peanut butter, which Amy can't do that. Amy needs fuel pull peanut butter. Okay. I need a lot of it on there. And that also gives me protein. I need more than her. But she also does sliced banana on top. And I've done sliced strawberries because I don't want to go too crazy with my carbs. So that's really good too.
I have another question.
Okay.
Like I have a problem with trying, okay, I had a friend who did THM and she said, I never counted, like I'm a big counter. I want everything to make sure I'm exact and within the numbers. So I'm not doing that at all now. But she said she never counted. She just made sure that when she ate E foods together or she ate S foods together, but
Right.
she really didn't count the amount. But like, how do you know? Even in the book, they give a list, like these are E foods, and like some things they scale back and say, I only have like this much if it's black beans, for example, but how do you know how many different things that you can have? Like, is there a rule about, okay, if I'm going to have this E food, then the rest of mine are not carby, or when can you put okay, like if you put the rice thins, which are going to be some carbs, and you're going to put banana on top of that, how do you know when you've reached without counting
I
and
would do
adding
half.
everything up?
Yeah, so a half of each one.
Okay.
So 2 thin stackers, and I would do half of a banana personally. I think bananas have way too much on their glycemic load.
Right.
So I don't do them too often. And I would probably add some berries on there too.
Okay, so
that is a really good question.
Serving, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's all right.
So basically a serving of carbs. And then if you're going to have more than one carb at that meal, you want to divide that up so that they all added up for a serving.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
Thank
way
you.
better than doing numbers.
All right. Yeah, it is. I don't like to do that.
I
Thank
don't
you.
either. I ain't got time for that, girl. You're welcome. Mary, do you need me to unmute you? I can't see her. There we go. You're ready, Mary.
Okay, so I'm listening to everybody, and I think that I am totally nuts because you all seem to be getting it just quite nicely, and I'm not. I was making some progress, and then got really sick and went on some medications and stuff. So I literally have gained since I left you, okay. Which wasn't that long ago.
Right.
But when we all talk about, I hear everybody talk about food freedom and all this, and I hear, don't worry about the numbers, then I'm hearing, pay attention to your numbers, your numbers, your numbers, your numbers. So I'm like feeling like I'm a cat chasing my tail because I'm getting more frustrated at trying to track the numbers than I ever did when I was tracking the numbers before. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I need to get off the merry-go-round, and I don't know how to step off of it.
Okay. So what would you say would be the most important thing right now that you need to get sorted out?
I guess I'm I'm so caught up in afraid with these numbers that you know, when I'm putting together a meal, like every morning religiously, I have an okra shake, the peanut butter chocolatey banana. That is my every morning. I start off with that.
Okay.
Believe it or not, after doing it for so long, it doesn't fill me up at all. And I'm thinking, that's kind of crazy because, you know, it was in the very beginning. But if I add a protein muffin, that's kind of an E. So I just went to crossover land.
No.
Right?
So no, a protein muffin from what recipe?
Maybe it's a box recipe.
Okay. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It's have you ever heard of this? Oh, what's the place called? It's almond flour. It's got stevia in it. I mean, it's very good. And then I go ahead and I add some some chia seeds to it, thinking maybe
Yeah,
I
so
can.
that's fat. So you are adding fat to what is an E written recipe. So that is crossing over. So
Right.
what I think you need to pay attention to is the foods list. And so you need to say, okay, so I had an E, and it has a banana in it, fine. I have room for more banana, but what I think you really need to add, Mary, is more protein and some non-starchies. Like have some berries and then add another protein source maybe to the shake. And also
So-
pay attention to your time. If you start drinking that shake at 7, hopefully you're done by 7:30. You can have something again at 10.
Yeah. Okay. So when you say add another protein source to that shake, what else could I put in it?
Let me see
I mean,
what's
do you want
already
me
in
to
it.
put like MCT oil in it?
That's not protein, that's fat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I'm not, and
That's
collagen.
okay. That's okay. Hang on just a second.
So is everybody else totally getting this? And I'm just like off in left field. Did I have a lobotomy
I
somewhere?
think with what you've experienced health-wise, I think it is a little harder to comprehend, but don't compare yourself to anybody else. This is your journey and it's okay. I'm going to help you figure it out. So
Okay.
you already have protein in this shake is pressed peanut flour. And it also has whey protein. Are you putting whey protein or collagen in there?
I'm putting whey protein.
Okay. Are you doing
3
the
scoops.
tablespoons?
Yeah.
2 scoops. 2 scoops. Okay. So make sure it's 3 tablespoons.
I am 3 tablespoons.
Okay. So you could add some collagen to that. But honestly, that is enough protein because a 1/4 cup is a serving of whey. So that would be 4 tablespoons, and that would be about 20 grams of protein plus what's in the pressed peanut flour. Probably it's somewhere between 5 and 10 for the pressed peanut flour. So you're having plenty of protein there. You may need to add more okra. It's 3/4 cups of okra. So honestly, this should fill you up. So if
That's
this
what I
was
thought.
me, what I would, and you're making the biggie shake.
I am.
Okay.
And I've gotten myself up to 3/4 of a cup now of the okra.
Good. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So the E there, you're just burning the carbs up, which is good because that means your metabolism's working. But you might need to chase it with a sipper, like a GGMS or a simple ice water or any of the sipper recipes
Okay.
that are out there, just to keep your belly full.
Okay.
And honestly, in the morning, your body may say, I want food, woman. I don't want to drink a shake, you know? And so that's something to think about as well, because drinking a shake sometimes just doesn't do it for you. And
Yeah.
it sounds like, and if you're doing it every day, your body might be telling you that you need to be having food.
I'm probably going on day 60 in a row.
Oh, my chickens.
Yes.
Yes. I would say you need to break that up.
Okay.
Maybe every other day. Have
Okay.
2 eggs fried in coconut oil with some bacon and some non-starchies. Doesn't that sound good?
Okay. I'll do that tomorrow.
Good. Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just take a breath. Everything's going to be fine. You are doing great because you're showing up and you're trying. And that's what you have to focus on. Okay.
I just feel like I've had a lobotomy.
And that's okay. It happens. I have seen worse things, if you'll believe it, and we've made it through. So it's going to be
Okay.
okay. It's going to be okay.
Thank you, ladies, for that little rant. I appreciate it.
We all struggle with something.
Yep. We all got problems. Everybody.
Okay.
Yours are very fixable in this sense. We can fix this. Okay. All right, guys. One more question. Anybody else?
What are your favorite okra recipes? If you want to try to get okra in every day, what are your favorite go-to okra recipes?
My favorite shake is the chocolate covered cherry shake, and I add a handful of okra to that. It's not in the recipe. That's what I would do. Secret slimming spaghetti. Is that what it's called? Slimming secret spaghetti, something like that. It has a bunch of okra in it, and I do enjoy that recipe. The Thin Thicks are also very good in THC, but they have 9.3 million steps. And so I couldn't tell you the last time I made one, but they are really good.
Yeah, I'm all about easy.
No. Okay. So easy, easy, easy. And you can do that any way you want. SE or fuel pull. And this is cultured dairy, so don't get upset. But I'll do a cup and a half of double fermented kefir. Does everyone know how to double ferment kefir? Okay. So we're going to pretend this is a bottle of kefir. It's blue. It says Lifeway, plain, unsweetened, low-fat kefir. I buy it from the grocery store. I come home. I put it on my counter. I don't do anything else to it for 24 to 36 hours. Then I put it in my refrigerator. Then I let it get cold. And I put a cup and a half in my shake. I put a handful or so of okra, a tablespoon of super sweet. If I want to go I'll add a tropical carby fruit. I rarely do bananas. Mango would be my favorite. If I want to go fuel pull, I would do berries. Raspberry would be my favorite. Those are frozen fruits, okay. And then for S, I would add some Ghirardelli Dutch processed cocoa. Thank you very much. A couple tablespoons. And then a couple tablespoons of pressed peanut flour. And then this for S. This is my fat. So good. And a tablespoon is 5 grams of fat, so I'd do a few. That was fun. You never know what I'm going to say.
I like it.
Good. All right, friends. Thank y'all so much. This was so fun. Oh, wait, there's a chat. Hold on. Oh, it was Mary saying thank you. You're so sweet. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in and all the things. I hope y'all have an excellent week. Bye, y'all.